Ladies and gentlemen, forget everything you thought you knew about Claressa Shields' picture-perfect engagement. Because behind the smiling photos and glittering ring lies a storm of betrayal. Secret deals and receipts so messy they could drown an entire career. And the man holding those receipts, none other than Papoose. And this time he's not holding back. For years, Papoose kept his image squeaky clean, playing the loyal, low-key figure in the background. But according to whispers from deep inside the industry, the rapper has finally had enough of being painted as the irrelevant ex. Now he's allegedly gearing up to unload everything, and I mean everything, about Claressa and her beloved fiancé. We're talking hush-hush payments, shady late-night meetings, flirtatious messages that somehow ended up in the wrong inbox, and the way Papoose tells it. This isn't just about romance gone wrong. This is about a calculated game to erase him from the industry while hiding a fiancé's dirtiest secrets. The only question now is, when Papoose finally pulls the trigger, will Claressa's empire survive? Or are we about to watch a knockout far worse than anything she's ever seen in the ring? Ladies and gentlemen, the gloves are off. And this isn't a friendly sparring match, it's an all-out demolition in the court of public opinion for months. Papoose sat silent, letting the whispers swirl and the gossip blogs write their own versions of the Claressa Shields fairy tale. But now he's flipping the table, tearing down the carefully curated image, and pulling receipts that, if real, could turn Claressa's golden couple narrative into a full-blown scandal. It all starts with what insiders are calling the silent setup. According to one industry source, we'll call her Tama, a longtime PR assistant who claims to have worked with both Papoose and Claressa's fiancé. The tension didn't begin after the breakup. Oh no, Tamika says this drama was brewing long, before the public even knew there was trouble in paradise. He was always in the background, Tamika allegedly told an anonymous blogger. They let Pap think he was welcome, but meetings would accidentally get rescheduled when he was supposed to be there. Phone calls would happen without him. It was like watching someone slowly get erased. And if you believe Papoose's side of things, that eraser wasn't an accident. He claims Claressa's fiancé had been subtly maneuvering to take over connections Pap had built over years. Promoters, music contacts, media producers, all under the guise of helping Claressa's brand. But here's where it turns from petty to downright sinister. According to leaked screenshots making the rounds in private group chats, Claressa's fiancé allegedly texted a business associate about making sure Pap's name stops showing up on guest lists. The same messages go on to say, "We can't build her empire if he's always in the picture." Ouch. Publicly, Claressa has brushed off the rumors, posting cryptic Instagram captions like, "I focus on winning, not whining, and you can't block blessings. Meant for me, but behind the scenes things are getting uglier." Papoose's camp insists they have proof, email chains, call logs, and even an accidental voice memo that showed deliberate attempts to block him from gigs, interviews, and events. One alleged example, a charity boxing showcase in Atlanta. Papoose claims he was invited months in advance, only to have his spot mysteriously reallocated to, you guessed it, Claressa's fiancé. Not Claressa, the fiancé. When questioned, organizers reportedly said they were told, "Pap's not available, but we've got someone better." The worst part? Papoose swears he never even knew about the scheduling change until photos from the event started popping up online. And in those photos, Claressa's fiancé's front and center, schmoozing with names Pap had known for over a decade. Now, you might be thinking, why didn't Papoose say something sooner? Well, according to another anonymous insider, he tried. But every time he spoke up privately, it was spun as jealousy or insecurity. They played him like the bitter ex before he even became the ex. The source claims that by the time the breakup went public, the narrative was already against him. But here's where things get really messy, because this isn't just about social snubs or hurt feelings. If the allegations are true, Claressa's fiancé might have crossed into territory that could be considered career sabotage. And that's where lawyers come in. Papoose's legal team has reportedly been reviewing documents and communications to determine whether they can sue for tortious interference, a fancy term for deliberately damaging someone's professional relationships. While those cases are notoriously hard to win, just the act of filing could be a PR nightmare for Claressa's camp. And oh, the internet is eating this up. Twitter is a war zone of hashtags. Hashtag Pap Science, hashtag Knockout Drama, and the brutally petty hashtag from rings to receipts. TikTok creators are reenacting the alleged text messages, complete with dramatic background music and captions like, "When your girl's man steals your career." Meanwhile, some fans are skeptical, pointing out that Papoose's career hasn't exactly been red hot in recent years, even without alleged sabotage. One comment with over 5,000 likes reads, "He's acting like he was headlining Madison Square Garden every weekend. Maybe he just fell off." But even those critics admit, if the receipts are real, Claressa and her fiancé are in trouble. Not just trouble, but the kind of brand-destroying scandal that sponsors run from faster than a bad investment. Adding fuel to the fire, an unverified but juicy rumor claims that Claressa's fiancé has his own skeletons, and that Papoose is holding back the dirtiest details for maximum impact. Allegedly, these bombshells involve questionable financial dealings, a side relationship that overlaps with his engagement, and one incident that could even have legal implications. The way Papoose sees it, according to his camp, this isn't about petty revenge. It's about self-defense. In his own words during a recent freestyle, "Yes, he dropped bars about it," Pap said. "I kept quiet while you drew up your plot. Now it's my turn. Let's see what you got. Receipts in my pocket, the truth in my hand. Time to show the world you're a fraudulent man." That clip alone racked up over 3 million views in 48 hours. Still, this is just the opening round. The real fight and the juiciest revelations are reportedly being saved for a major sit-down interview. Papoose is allegedly negotiating with a top gossip channel. And if that happens, it won't just be Claressa's fiancé on the hot seat. Claressa herself might have to answer some uncomfortable questions about what she knew and when she knew it. Because at the end of the day, folks, this isn't just about a broken relationship. It's about power, manipulation, and a battle for industry dominance. And as anyone who follows the game knows, when you mix personal betrayal with public humiliation, the fallout is always catastrophic. And if what we're hearing about round 2 is true, the next chapter of this saga will make this look like child's play. And here's where the storyline takes a sharp, soap opera level twist. Just when people thought Papoose's sit-down interview would be the main event, a different leak hit the internet, and this one didn't come from his camp. Nope, this came from an anonymous box link posted on a shady gossip forum at 2 a.m. titled simply for Pap. Within hours, clips and screenshots from the folder started circulating like wildfire. The content allegedly private exchanges between Claressa's fiancé and multiple industry contacts, some of which painted him as a man working not just against Papoose, but against several others in the same entertainment and sports circles. One particularly damning screenshot showed an email thread with a promoter in Miami where Claressa's fiancé wrote, "Pap's reputation is done. Trust me, you don't want to attach your brand to him. I can put you in touch with better names for the event." Better names, huh? That little line became a viral meme overnight, with Twitter users posting photos of random objects, a loaf of bread, a rusty bicycle, a parking ticket captioned "Better Names." But buried deeper in the leak was something far more dangerous, a document labeled Sponsorship Reallocation Agreement, according to self-proclaimed document analysts on Reddit. The form outlined how certain endorsement deals originally pitched with Papoose in mind were redirected to Claressa and her fiancé's joint branding projects. Whether it's authentic or a brilliant fake remains to be seen, but the public didn't care. The narrative was already writing itself. Meanwhile, Papoose stayed uncharacteristically quiet about the leak. No tweets, no cryptic Instagram stories. Not even a verse in a freestyle, which only made the internet more certain that the receipts were legit. 'Cause in this kind of scandal, silence is often louder than words. And then came the phone call. An audio clip allegedly recorded during a tense argument between Claressa's fiancé and an unnamed associate surfaced on TikTok. The voice, which online sleuths are 99% sure belongs to the fiancé, can be heard, saying, "Papoose needs to understand this is our time. If he gets in the way, I'll ruin him. I don't care what it takes." That one sentence detonated across every gossip blog from here to YouTube. In just 2 days, hashtags like #IllRuinHim and #ThisIsOurTime trended across platforms. Of course, Claressa's camp tried to play defense, issuing a carefully worded statement that read, "Claressa. Shields is focused solely on her upcoming fights and brand partnerships. She has no involvement in any alleged private matters concerning others." Translation, "We're not touching this with a 10-foot pole." But the problem with playing neutral in a war is that both sides start wondering if you're secretly working against them. Sources close to Papoose say his trust in Claressa, whatever little remained, has completely evaporated in his mind. Her silence equals complicity. And here's where it gets even juicier. An unconfirmed rumor claims Papoose has already lined up his own set of leaks. Specifically, direct messages between Claressa's fiancé and a woman described only as a known face in the sports world. Supposedly, these DMs hint at a personal relationship that overlaps suspiciously with his engagement to Claressa. Imagine the headlines if that's true. The people's champion caught in a love triangle. You couldn't script it better. Meanwhile, fans are going full detective mode. Twitter threads with 40,000 plus likes are dissecting old press photos, circling knowing looks between Claressa's fiancé and mystery women at public events. TikTok is flooded with side-by-side comparisons of outfits, captions, and suspiciously timed trips. But here's the kicker. None of this speculation seems to scare Papoose. In fact, according to a friend of a friend who spilled tea to a hip-hop podcast, Pap is biding his time because he knows his evidence isn't just petty drama. It could have business consequences. And in this industry, business consequences hit harder than any diss track. Sponsors vanish. Contracts get revised. Invitations stop coming. Suddenly, your A-list connections stop returning calls. The way insiders tell it, Papoose's strategy is simple. Let the public roast Claressa's fiancé for now. When he drops his own set of proof, make sure it's something sponsors can't ignore. That way, even if Claressa tries to spin it, the financial fallout will be undeniable. But there's a risk, because dragging Claressa's fiancé down too hard could also hurt Claressa herself. And while Pap may not care about her personal life anymore, even he has to admit that destroying her public brand could spark massive backlash from her loyal fan base. Yet, some believe that's exactly what he wants, a complete no survivors takedown. If that's the plan, then part 3 of the saga, the final round, could be the most brutal yet. Because there's already talk that Papoose has secured an exclusive interview slot on a certain top gossip YouTube channel. The kind of interview where they bring out the laptop, scroll through never-before-seen evidence live, and watch the internet implode in real time. And if that happens, Claressa's fiancé won't be the only one sweating. Because in wars like this, the blast radius never stays contained to just one target. The countdown to the so-called final round began the moment whispers of that exclusive interview started making the rounds. Gossip spill vibe insiders, yes, even our own network has ears everywhere, claim the filming location has already been secured. Private studio, multiple camera angles, a non-disclosure agreement for everyone in the room. And according to one source, Papoose is planning to walk in with 2 laptops, one for the evidence and one as a backup in case technical difficulties suddenly appear. Because here's the thing, In this kind of war, nobody trusts the Wi-Fi. The leaked lineup of topics for that interview reads like the plot of a scandal-packed Netflix docuseries. Segment 1. The disappearing opportunities with emails, call logs, and calendar screenshots allegedly proving Claressa's fiancé systematically cut Papoose out of events and endorsements. Segment 2. The side hustles, where Pap will allegedly show proof of backdoor sponsorship deals and undisclosed payments linked to Claressa's brand partnerships. And Segment 3. The one everyone's already bracing for the other relationship. That's right. The rumored DMs between Claressa's fiancé and that unnamed sports world figure are expected to be part of the finale. If they're as incriminating as the whispers suggest, it won't just be messy. It'll be nuclear. And get this, our source says Pap isn't just dropping receipts, he's dropping timelines, exact dates, locations, correlating them with Claressa's public appearances. The kind of detail that makes it impossible to hide behind vague denials. If those dots connect on screen, we're talking about a level of exposure that could permanently stain two reputations at once. Now, Claressa isn't just sitting in the corner letting this play out. According to a separate insider, her team is scrambling to preemptively control the narrative. Allegedly, they're considering dropping their own counter-story through a friendly media outlet before Pap's interview airs, something that paints him as bitter, manipulative, and desperate for relevance. But here's where it gets tricky. The public's patience for preemptive damage control is thin right now. If Claressa's version hits first, the internet will smell the panic. And panic never plays well in the court of public opinion. Meanwhile, Claressa's fiancé has gone full ghost mode. No social media posts, no interviews, no public sightings. But absence isn't helping him. In fact, the longer he stays silent, the more TikTok detectives spin theories about where he is and what he's hiding. One viral post even joked, "This man is in witness protection, and the witness is Papoose." Brutal. Behind the scenes, though, people are nervous. Not just in Claressa's camp, but in the wider circle of industry players who've done business with her fiancé. Because if Pap's side hustle's evidence shows shady dealings involving sponsors, brands, or event organizers, the fallout won't stop with one relationship. There could be contract terminations, partnership dissolutions, even legal audits. And then there's the nuclear wildcard, Heatwave. Remember that name from earlier parts of the saga? It's the enigmatic industry figure who supposedly has dirt on everyone. Well, apparently, he's been watching from the sidelines, and insiders claim he's deciding whether to get involved. If Heatwave leaks what he knows, this could spiral way past Pap versus Claressa's fiancé into a full-scale industry meltdown. Now, let's not pretend Papoose is a pure hero here. Critics are already pointing out that this scorched earth strategy could backfire. By going for maximum exposure, he risks looking vindictive instead of justified. But others argue that in a game where your name is everything, letting someone erase you without a fight is career suicide. And in that logic, perhaps he's just fighting fire with a flamethrower. Here's what's undeniable. The stakes are sky high. Claressa's next fight is only months away. Sponsors will be watching. Fans will be watching. And every move she or her fiancé makes from now until that interview could tip the balance. The clock is ticking. The receipts are stacked. And the audience is salivating for the knockout blow. But the real question is, when Pap finally lands it, will it be a clean hit? Or will the shrapnel take down more than just his intended target? Because in this arena, there are no referees, no ring bells to stop the fight. And when the lights go out, the only thing left will be the headlines and the careers they bury. Ladies and gentlemen, if you thought this saga was over, think again. Because what's coming next might be the final brutal swing that leaves no one standing. Papoose has promised the receipts of all receipts. Claressa's camp is scrambling for damage control. And her fiancé Well, he's either plotting his counterpunch or trying to survive the knockout that's already in motion. The evidence Pap is rumored to have could change the entire conversation, not just about Claressa's relationship, but about how far people will go to erase someone from an industry they helped build. If even half of what insiders are whispering is true, we could be looking at career-ending revelations. Sponsorships gone, partnerships dissolved, legacies shattered. And here's where you come in. Do you think Papoose is a man seeking justice, finally fighting back against calculated sabotage? Or is this a bitter ex who's letting his emotions drive him into dangerous territory? Is Claressa truly an innocent caught in the crossfire? Or has she been a quiet accomplice to the very schemes that dismantled Pap's career? Drop your theories below, because this isn't just gossip. This is an unfolding investigation. And the court of public opinion is wide open. We'll be diving into every angle, every leaked message, and every suspiciously timed business deal, right here on Gossip Spill Vibe. So if you want the next chapter before the headlines catch up, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because when those laptops open in Pap's big interview, we'll be right here breaking down every frame. This isn't just drama. This is war. And the next shot fired could change everything.